Welcome back. In this video, I'll be discussing the dynamic analysis of load frequency control of a single area system, considering an uncontrolled case. So considering an uncontrolled case is when we does not consider into affect the speed changer. So speed changer is not working. So we say delta PC of S is equal to 0. And in equation number 1, we substitute delta PC of S to be equal to 0. And thereby we arrive at the expression of delta F of S. So let us consider this expression and let us proceed with the analysis. So for dynamic analysis, let us equate Tg and Tt to be equal to 0. So on equating Tg and Tt to be equal to 0, so in equation 1, we substituted delta Pc of S to be equal to 0. And as we substituted delta Pc of S to be equal to 0, we arrive at this expression. So let me quickly substitute the value of Gp, Gt of S. So we have delta F of S to be equal to minus Pd of S into Kp divided by 1 plus STP divided by 1 plus, in place of Gt of S, I substitute Kg Kt divided by 1 plus STg into 1 plus STT. And in place of Gp of S, I substitute Kp divided by 1 plus STP into, I have an R in the denominator, 1 by R. Okay, so for dynamic case, I am going to consider Tg and Tt to be equal to 0. So if we consider Tg and Tt to be equal to 0, so this happens to be 0, and we already have a general assumption that Kg Kt is approximately equal to 1. So on substituting it here, it's going to be 1 in the numerator, and in the denominator, it's again going to be 1 plus 0 into 1 plus 0, which is 1. So this term is equal to 1 now. So whatever remains is taken into consideration for dynamic analysis. So the base equation that we have for dynamic analysis is delta F of S equal to minus Kp divided by 1 plus STP into delta P of S divided by 1 plus 1 by R into Kp divided by 1 plus STP. So now let me bring this 1 plus STP to the denominator. Okay. So let me bring it completely here, and then let me multiply it through all the terms. So when I do that, I get 1 plus 1 STP plus Kp divided by R. And now let us group the terms that does not have S in the denominator. So these are the two terms that does not have S in the denominator. So I have grouped them together, and always before we take okay, so I have grouped it together. Now let me okay, remove this R from the denominator and let me take it to the numerator. So just I take I multiply, or I take LCM here, and as I take LCM for this term, okay, so as I take LCM, I multiply the other terms with R. Okay, so whole divided by R, whole divided by R. Okay, denominator is taken to the numerator. So now R moves to the numerator, and this is our denominator. Now S has a coefficient R into Tp. Whenever we want to work with an inverse Laplace transform, our vision is to calculate the dynamic change in frequency, right? So change in frequency with respect to time. So we are going to calculate delta F of t. Now I have an expression which is delta f of s. So taking inverse Laplace transform for delta f of s, I'll be having delta f of t. So I'll be taking inverse Laplace transform, that is already known. So in order to take inverse Laplace transform, we usually have something in the denominator of form s plus a, and we'll have only one as the coefficient of s. So that taking inverse Laplace transform will be easier. So that's going to be after inverse Laplace transform, it's going to be e power minus at. So now let me remove the coefficient of s. So let me take RTP in common outside. So when I take this RTP commonly out all along the terms of the denominator, so RTP goes out here, and here you have R by TP. Okay, and that's the expression that you could see here. And now we also know that delta PD of S is equal to delta PD divided by S. For this is explained earlier in the previous video. So now let us substitute the value of delta PD of S. So I substitute delta PD divided by S. So here I have two S terms in the denominator, and hence I cannot take inverse Laplace transform directly. So I go for the help of the partial fractions, and after I split this denominator. So while you apply partial fraction, you will be writing it as a divided by s plus b divided by s plus r plus kp divided by rtp. Okay, so we'll be finding the values of a and b. After finding the values of a and b, and on substitution, delta f of s happens to be the one that you find here. And now take inverse Laplace transform. So this is a constant, so I write it as such. So inverse Laplace transform of 1 of s, 1 by s is 1. And as I mentioned earlier, inverse Laplace transform of 1 by s plus a is e power minus at. And in place of a, I have this fraction. So this is delta f of t. And this is the equation that is going to define the change in frequency with respect to time. So with this, let me draw the graph. Generally, when we draw e power minus at, so that plot is going to be this way. Okay, so that's going to exponentially decrease with respect to time. So this is the plot of e power minus at. Okay, so this is the plot of e power minus at. Now, the equation is 1 minus e power. So, I'm going to subtract 1 from all these values. The initial value is 1. So we are talking about the per unit values, right? So when we talk about the initial value, let me consider that to be 1. So when the initial value is 1, so 1 minus 1, so it's going to be 0. So your curve is going to follow the same pattern, but it's going to start from this point. So it's 1 minus, right? So let me start from this point, and I have the same pattern reflected along the fourth quadrant of the graph. So here I have time, and here we have delta f. So delta f of t is going to be an exponentially decaying curve. Though it's 1 minus, it's again going to exponentially reduce. And this curve is drawn considering kg kt to be approximately equal to 1. But practically kg kt is not equal to 1. And we will have a value of kg and kt. So under that case, the curve is not going to smoothly decrease as an exponential function, but it's going to follow certain oscillation, and then it's going to arrive at a steady state. And this plot explains the dynamic response. And looking at this expression, okay, so this denotes the steady state value. If you want, you could also compare it with minus delta PD divided by beta, the value that we arrived using the steady state analysis. That and this value are going to be the same, equal. Okay, and the coefficient of t is said to be the inverse of time constant. So I write time constant tau, or certain books also use capital T to define time constant. So for this curve, the time constant is equal to RTP divided by R plus KP. Let us now discuss in detail the significance of this time constant. Already we have learned in circuit theory that whenever you have a value of time constant, so whenever you have an exponentially decaying function or a transient function, so the significance of time constant is that at 6 tau completely the transient dies out. So at a time constant which is greater than 5 tau, so at a time which is greater than 5 tau or which is equal to 6 tau, the transient dies out. So this is again a time varying curve, right? So this is time varying. So if you could see here, this is going to vary with time, and at a point of time, it's going to arrive at a constant value. And hence, we find the time at which we reach the steady state. Okay, so to find this time duration, okay, so to find the time duration, this time duration at the point at which the transient component has completely died off, we have to calculate 6 tau. So 6 times time constant, that is 6 RTP divided by R plus KP, will give the time at which the frequency has changed to a new frequency. So this frequency corresponds to the old frequency, and this value of frequency corresponds to the new value of frequency. And the difference between the old and the new is represented as delta F static, or the steady state value of frequency that we get from the dynamic response expression.